Hey guys, this is going to be the first of, I don't know if it's either going to be, how many bonus videos there are going to be, and I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to split this all up. So, I was debating what I was going to do as far as the bonus episode stuff is. So I actually ended up deciding I am going to show the Lucky Emblem finding, just because some of these are a bit ridiculous, and unless you look up a guide or something, sometimes that's a bit much to be asking someone to look for. You do get some pretty cool stuff for actually doing the Lucky Emblems. So I was like, alright, I'll do this. So we're going to do it might be just the 2 recordings I did of this, I'm not sure, or I might split them up into 2 parts each recording, so 4 episodes of it. Don't know exactly. So you're going to see my level and everything going to be very much lower than what we ended up being by the time the Let's Play ended. Just because, well, obvious reasons of, hey, I did this way earlier. Then I'm also planning afterward to do the 2 hardest fights in the game. One of them being where it's just Sora and the opponent. Which is just a really... if you're taking the previous 2 games, the fight is a bit of a joke. Just gonna be completely honest, that whole fight's a bit of a joke. Compared to the fights you've had with Sephiroth in the previous games. So, there's that. I'm going to do that fight, and I'm also going to do... because you can actually redo the fight, essentially, which is interesting. The other one is a fight that you do in the gummy ship, and that one's actually difficult. So, that's essentially what the last video for this series is going to be. After that, it's pretty much going to be just strictly the Advance Wars, Days of Ruin. Depending on how things work out today, I might be able to record the last chapter of it. Gosh. It's the whole idea of, like, when you think you have things done, you don't. So, I haven't had a chance to record it yet. That, and I was going to see if I could record it last night, but I worked a 9-hour shift yesterday, so I was tired. So... oh boy. Anyway. So, I'm going to be leaving pretty much the entirety of me exploring the world, because when I tried to do this previously, I essentially cut all the exploring and only showed the Lucky Emblems. Yeah, that cuts it down into like a 20-ish minute video, which makes it a little bit more digestible for people, but it was so jarring, even when I was trying to do the commentating over it, it just wasn't really something I was satisfied with. So, we're just going to leave it to where I'm exploring around, and just kind of have a chat kind of thing as we're going through all this. But I will say this, about Kingdom Hearts 3. I do like it. It's been, oh gosh. I honestly want to say it's been like 2 or 3 months since I actually beat the game. But it just took me that long to do all the recording, like video editing and stuff like that. But it's been crazy. I still do really like this game. I ended up platinuming the game because it was actually really simple to do. I think it was like over the course of like 2 or 3 days, I just did all the extra stuff and I was able to platinum it. It was actually pretty simple. Oh gosh. Like these Heartless that are ice reindeers are kind of silly, but anyway. It was, I don't know. Some of the extra stuff was a bit much. I'll just be completely honest with you on that. It was insane about really how to get the Ultima weapon was a bit silly because you had to get all the Orichalcum pluses, and that was a nightmare. I kid you not, that was pretty bad. You had to essentially get the all the Fantastic 7 mini games done, and you had to reach the high score for each one of them. It wasn't enough just to play it, you had to get the high score on them. So that was just crazy. And I honestly had to look up a guide to how to get those ranks, well, those high scores done, because some of that was just insane. I know I showed a couple of them, but I didn't find all of the Fantastic 7 when playing through the game, and good night. Finding them wasn't that bad, but their mini games were pretty bad for the most part. There were some that were pretty simple, and it was easy to get that high score to the point where we actually got high score on the LP, but most of them were not the case. It was more of the opposite, where I did horribly, and it's like I have to find out how to actually play the game. Most of the Orichalcum pluses, because I actually found pretty much all of them in the
we were trapped in.
Yeah, I found pretty much all of them in the chest throughout the worlds, but because I had gotten all the chests, so I had all of them before I went through it again. But the rest were through mini games and the like that you had to make sure that you were getting those high scores and whatnot, which is, I get it because it's an extra Keyblade and everything, but it was a bit much. Oh yeah. This is like the one, this is the Lucky Emblem that I could never find, and it was sitting right there. I was looking for like a little small indentation into the wall, but this is where I had looked up a guide by this point, and because I was like, I don't know what's going on. I know there's a Lucky Emblem in there, I just don't know where it is. So I looked it up, and I was like, you have got to be joking. The landscape can be a lucky emblem, as far as it goes with that, and that started this whole that whole mess. But, yeah. Oh yeah, this is... I think it's the first time I'm ever trying that weapon. But, anyway. I'm just kind of rummaging around, seeing if I can upgrade or update anything. But, more Super Slide. But yeah, there's the mini game here that you actually skate. Well, not skate, but you're basically snowboarding off of Goofy's shield down the mountain, and there's these little treasure crystals you have to gather. Well, essentially with that, oh yeah, there's this. And the thing is you're supposed to go somehow get to it another way through up there, but I was never able to find out how to do that. I kid you not. I was still to this day, I don't know how you get up there. So, yay, double jump. But, and there's actually no way, from what I could see, how you're supposed to actually get there. And you can see it's going off into that little corridor over there, but, I don't know why I was pointing at my screen. You guys can't see that. But, you see that corridor going off to the right, but there's not any way from what I've seen on how to actually go through that. And I'm sitting there going, okay, well, I don't see it. Unless it's that right there, and there's not really a way for me to see that, you know? And that's another lucky emblem I completely missed.
Let's see.
That one's a little bit more understandable.
Hey, I think that's a lucky emblem.
Because it just...
Let's see.
It was kind of just really random.
Let's see.
About how you see it, so you may or may not ever see that. So it's a bit more obvious though, also. But anyway. And I think I check around a little bit before I head out, just to make sure everything is good. But, yeah, there's a treasure sphere, like 10 treasure spheres, and there's no way you can get it all in one go, but to get the one of the Orichalcum Pluses, you have to get all 10 of them. And so you have to play that minigame a lot. I think I played the minigame like, gosh, almost 10 times because I was only getting like 1, maybe 2 per go. And I think I only got 2 once, so it was quite a lot that I went. There's sometimes I completely missed it and didn't get any of them. So it was actually really difficult to go through it. I also ended up, since we're looking at the this right here. I actually also did 100% in the Moogle's synthesis. To do 100% in the Moogle synthesis, you just synthesize everything. So I was able to do that. As far as this is concerned right here, you don't have to 100% it to get 100% in the game. That's something you can do, but it's not required for the platinuming the game. Another one of the Orichalcum pluses is tied to a gummy ship whole deal, where you have to go through this rigmarole at like the last gummy space that you're in of doing these boss fights. And good night, because some of that was confusing as all get out. I kid you not. It was confusing because you had to fight, you essentially had to unlock these bosses and then fight them, and then there's this one final guy you fight. And that's not the hardest fight in the game as far as the gummy ship goes. He's a bit of a joke compared to the worst fight in that game. But yeah, there's that one that I had already gotten. But there is that. You essentially have to fight all these purple, like, coated enemies, and you go into these gummy fights with them, and it's like ridiculously annoying. But in the end, you fight the essentially a recreation of the heartless battleship that you fought to get into the actual gummy space and out of that maze you were in. You just fight a harder version of that boss. And you get an Orichalcum Plus out of that. That's... And then the Fantastic 7 gives you the 7th one. But... So, as far as, like, getting the Orichalcum Pluses, for the most part, it's not bad. It's somewhat simple as far as what you need to do, because most of it's going to be in treasure chests. It's just those 3 hidden... Oh, no, there's one more that I forgot. Well, probably a couple more. But there's one that's tied to the prize postcards that you get. Oh my gosh, the prize postcards were ridiculous. You essentially had to get prize postcards, put them in, and it was random chance that you would get the Orichalcum Plus. So you could actually get it the first time you ever put in your prize postcard. But more often than not, that was not the case. You were more than likely going to get a potion or a tent or something like that. It was also pretty random that I got a stat increase item on the first time I put the prize postcard in. So that was crazy. Oh yeah, I was trying to go through the whole thing again to make sure I got everything. That was how you got to the very beginning where you warped into the ice palace thing that was created.
Here we go.
But Oh yeah, it's been a crazy thing this game is, but I will say this, the Ultima Blade in this game, pretty overpowered for the most part. It was extremely overpowered. There's honestly no words for it. It made fighting a joke at that point. And I'll show it off whenever I do that fight with the Heartless in the last bonus episode we're doing.
Here we go.
But it was something else, I tell you. It's essentially a screen nuke. It's ridiculous. But it's awesome. Oh yeah, because there is a Lucky Emblem here. That's the reason.
Let's
Oh.
see.
Oh yeah, because I was going down the list of like, okay, did I get this one? Did I get this one? And I was making sure, and I could have just checked the album, and I just didn't. And that's the thing about it. That's just one thing about me, though. It's just even though I can see it's like, okay, I captured that one. I still am like, did I do it? Did I do it? Did I actually capture that, or did I not? Oh, and this is some craziness. You go in, you see that. Alright, cool. That whole thing is a bit crazy. Because if you actually, go into leave that room from the previous area. If you recall, that whole area was blocked off. Well, both of them are blocked off. If you even let the screen, like, not view it at all, it'll close them off completely. And you're like, wait, what? So if you just leave the area, like, not completely leave the Ice Palace, but just kind of go further down the room to the other side of it, it's weird. It's some weirdness. I get somewhat why it was done that way, but it's the game trying to say, oh, you've progressed in the story to where this isn't something that really should be here. What do I do? But trying to find. Gosh, I've talked for like, I want to say like what, 20-ish minutes about getting that Ultima Blade. Good night. Oh yeah, another one of the, well, yeah, it was. So another one of the Orichalcum pluses again was actually linked behind the mini game in the Toy Story world. So, or Toy Box, as it's called. But that's a thing. Oh, getting all the points for that though was really dumb and insane. I'll just put it that way. Snowball! He fell. But I will say this about having to go through all those mini games. Some of them are actually really fun, and hold on. Excuse me. That was a sneeze. That just came out of nowhere. But anyway.
Try this.
Some of the mini games are fun, but I will say the Fantastic ones, for the most part, are okay. They're not great mini games. They're okay mini games, but for the most part, they're mini games that are just kind of more annoying than anything. I'll just be honest. Most of those mini games are absolutely annoying.
There.
Oh, the Blizzard Blades are by far, in my opinion, one of the cooler forms for your attacks, because it's like, oh dude, you basically are ice skating with these blades on your arms, and the skates are blades as well.
Here, I'll show you the way.
And this right here is actually a good way to kind of show what the minigame is. That you have to get all the treasure spheres on. I think I got one like the first time I was going down. I don't know if that's the case or not. But remember this whole thing? When we're running away?
Oh, what?
Yeah, I had to do this minigame quite a bit. I'm not too fond of this minigame because of that. It's like, hey, gather all of these orbs and whatnot, but that's not actually what matters. What matters is gathering the treasure spheres, and finding them is something else, because you may or may not find them. Because that's the thing. They're hidden off of random paths here and there, so if you don't know where it is, then you're not actually going to get it.
Yahoo!
You know what? I don't know if I actually get one or not. Let's go around. Oh no, I do. I got the fourth one.
Yes!
And I saw 1 of 10. Oh, fantastic! Something I told myself something I never have to get. No, I ended up getting them because I wanted to get the Ultima Blade, and you have to do that. So there is that. But I will say this: one thing that's nice about this minigame is you don't have to get all of the treasure spheres in one go. It's actually impossible to do that. So, mainly because it's like, oh, you go down the right path, you can get this treasure sphere, but you can't get these. So, there's that. But there's also a high record you gotta beat before you get the S rank. And that's also part of it. Part of getting the 100% in Gemini's journal, you have to get an S rank on all minigames. So it was just like, oh my gosh, I gotta beat these minigames until I get S rank? I don't like this. I think actually yeah, that's why I was doing that. Minigame so much.
Hey, you're...
With the toy box, because I was trying to get that S rank.
Could we slide down the mountain again, Sora?
I'm just kind of
You came to visit.
walking around.
Welcome back to the Ice Palace. It was Elsa's second work of art. I came first.
Yeah, it's silly that they actually show like the inside of the castle on the map, but you can't actually go inside of it. But anyway. I guess I can kind of go into talking about some other stuff, so I'm not just sitting here not doing anything as I'm watching this whole recording of me playing the game go around. While I'm looking for Lucky Emblems. So as far as what I'm planning on doing after this series is done, is I have somewhat of an idea of what I'm wanting to do. I don't know how it's all going to work out. Just because work has been really ridiculous. They'll either give me the most inconvenient shifts possible to where it's not feasible to record during it like before or after work, because it's either I'm doing a mid shift and I'm working 8 or 9 hours or like yesterday I closed but I had to go in really early and it's like good night. But I've been trying to do these things on my days off, so what I'm thinking about doing is after I'm done with this series, I'm going to try more or less focusing on to do what I can to finish that series, because I do want to do the trial missions as well. It requires a lot less finesse, as far as voice acting or anything goes. And those are all extra. You don't ever have to do the trial missions. I've just been doing them for the fun of it. I'll just be doing those for just kind of the fun of it. And it's also part of the game, so there is that. But later in the month, and I'm currently debating whether just to record me doing this or stream it. Kind of like the whole thing with Kingdom Hearts, I'm going to be doing the game completely blind because it's going to be brand new. It's the new Fire Emblem game. So I'm really wanting to do that, pretty much. I thought about waiting until I've played the game so I can give an accurate, like, okay, this is what you should do. But the more I thought about it, I was like, I can do that for most of them. But the brand new ones, it actually would be interesting to kind of see how that series would go about. As far as, okay, these are people you can recruit, and I have to find that out myself. I don't know if it'll be as unforgiving as older ones where they won't tell you, hey, this is a character you can recruit. And they just never tell you. But I don't know. But yeah, it's gonna be something else to try to play that. But I think it'll be something that's gonna be fun. I'm not sure exactly how they plan on presenting the game, if it's going to be chapter-wise, or if it's just going to be
Snow.
done kind of like, okay, you do this battle kind of thing. It's probably going to be like a normal chapter bit, but considering how they're doing theirs quite a bit differently, I'm actually interested in seeing how it's all going to unfold in that regard. So, there is that.
I know one move.
What in the world was going on with that? I guess I was Goofy dishing out some damage. Trying to think. What else? Oh, yeah. And this is something I'm probably going to do just streaming-wise as well. After and that's why I'm kind of thinking I'm probably just going to record the just plain record the trial things, trial missions for Advance Wars. Gosh, that's like one of the biggest brain fart of my life. What I'm thinking about doing is actually, someone had asked if I could see if I can't actually beat the 301st mission on Final Fantasy A2, Tactics A2. And I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna be doing a lot of like. I think what I'm gonna be doing for the most part is mainly just whenever I have some spare time and whatnot, I'm gonna try to level up my characters that I'm gonna be using to at least high 80s, if they're not already there. Like Steffi, because good night, she's the boss. But there's plenty of other characters that I was using that just were level 50 and whatnot, so they could not do any damage to save them. Or they could do damage, it's just they couldn't take a hit. And just with that, along with trying to have them master as many of the classes that would be necessary as possible, so I'm going to be looking at doing that a lot. And I might be streaming that. I think that would be something I could do, just to get an idea of how all that's going to go out. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at. This is the first time I used the Blizzard Blades in a fight, and I'll be honest, I actually like the Blizzard Blades quite a bit. That's why I was using the Keyblade from this area so many times, because like, man, I love the Blizzard Blades. And it's because I got to use it so much during this time period of trying to find all these different Lucky Emblems.
Bad news, Sora. It happened again.
Oh, this.
I'm sure you didn't mean for this to happen.
We'll help.
Great! Thank you.
This whole thing of like, oh, Olaf has messed up again.
Hey, I'm over there. this way. Huh?
And this is one of the few times it activated the finisher without me actually doing that. I
Call it
think.
cozy or snug?
I'd have to go back and look at it again, but I think... Because sometimes I've had that happen, and it's like, I didn't press triangle and it automatically activated it.
I'm over here.
But...
Hey, I'm over this way.
Hey, this is Olaf's body.
Button and all.
I'm over here.
Good night.
It is
Hold on.
kind of hard to spot out all this snow.
Good.
I can hear
Yes.
you. You're getting close.
These allergies are just really being annoying.
Hi, Sora.
Hey, Olaf, there you are.
I was starting to
I'm
think
sorry.
nobody'd ever come along and find me.
It's just
I'm
like,
glad we did.
this is like the worst thing ever.
Oh, I think
put
I
in
might
some
have
gum to
seen
hopefully
Olaf's
help out with
legs
that.
legging it.
Whether or not that was going to be something that would
I got
help, I
them.
have no idea.
Great job, Sora.
We'll see.
Think that's all of him?
Anna will know what to do
But anyway.
next.
So yeah,
Promise you'll be
I'm
careful.
thinking about
Will. Thank you, Elsa. Thanks, Anna. Silly, it wasn't lost.
looking at doing those streams on any like Sunday that I'm not busy.
Would you mind keeping Olaf?
Probably it would be later in the evening.
Falling apart
But-
is starting to become a habit for a...
I don't work on Sundays, so
I'm glad Olaf is having fun.
I'm looking at actually doing that.
You want to play a game together?
It's like, hey, you want to play a game? It's like you find Olaf. That's what the game is. I would say those streams are probably going to start around 8 p.m.-ish. That's probably going to go up. That's probably going to start maybe sometime this Sunday. I'll have to see if that's if I can get everything working. As far as like the layout and everything, I think I'll be fine, but you never know. You never know with some of this stuff, but I think I'll do it this Sunday, this coming Sunday, if I possibly can, just to kind of get that started. Because I do want to see if I can actually get it done before Fire Emblem comes out. Because I don't want to go from one game I'm either recording or live streaming to another. I think what I'm gonna do, as far as it's concerned with Fire Emblem, I'm gonna do kind of like a test recording and see. Well, I'm gonna try recording it and see if it's something that's viable as a recording or if it's just better if I stream it. So I'm gonna be doing that, and hopefully that'll work out better. As far as like idea-wise, because that would make a lot more sense. It's like, okay, is this better recording it or is it better streaming it? Because there's some games that are better streaming. Well, that are better if they're streamed or not. So there is that.
I know what to do, Sora.
Gosh, at this point I do feel like I should somewhat cut down on this ridiculous amounts of exploring. But I will be honest, Arendelle's really the only one that I do this with because I barely got anything as far as Lucky Emblems are concerned, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out where they all are. Like, I was able to find a decent amount of them going through with it normally, but actually actively searching for it, I went through the whole world again, and it took a while, but I was able to get them all, which is good. I'm just sitting here talking about random things because I have nothing else to talk about when it comes to this game. Like, my opinions on this game have been said. I think the ending was really weird, and I just don't really understand it. As far as, like, the whole cutscene with Xehanort, that was just weird. But especially since it's like, hey, this guy was the villain all along, but you know, it was just weird. Like, this is for someone who's played all but one of the extra Kingdom Hearts games, and I thought it was weird. But the most overpowered buddy attack, essentially.
Here we go. You need
But anyway. Snowball just slaps the dude. He's like, I ain't dealing with you. But yeah, so there's that's going to be going on, so it's going to be quite a bit, and I might be overloading myself by quite a large margin. So it really just kind of depends. So, as far as Fire Emblem goes, it's probably going to be somewhat close to the release date that it's going to be coming out as far as, like, recording-wise, but I wouldn't hold my breath on it just because my job is kind of not favorable at the moment, so especially with their ridiculous random hours they'll give me. So I'm just gonna pretty much not hold my breath when it comes to that, getting a favorable schedule to where I can do a good bit of recording and all that. But I'm pretty much having to rely on the fact that I would be getting a schedule that's not all day long, and have to rely on that. But I guess I'll put it in the way of, if it works out, it works out. If not, I'm not going to sweat over it. Because I'm not going to add more stress on to my life than there already is, so there you go. I have done that before, and it's not fun. That's why I've kind of cut back the amount of videos I was putting out every week, because it was stressing me out that I was trying to keep up with all the video stuff as well as work and all that, so I was like, I just need to cut back. Because if I don't, I'm going to stress myself out. But anyway, trying to think of what else. Oh yeah. Now, this is kind of also why I'm more leaning into just recording Fire Emblem. The more I'm thinking about it,
Think the snow's deep enough?
is
I think it's kind of fun.
oh yeah, this is like the worst Lucky Emblem to try to get. For some reason, it was not wanting to work as taking a picture. And here's the funny thing, I didn't see it when I went and got that treasure chest, so you'll see me futzing around quite a bit before I actually find it. But anyway, like I was saying, I've been trying to think of what future kind of titles I'm wanting to do as far as series. And after thinking about it, there's a game that I did have on the channel. I did,
There's Arendelle
and
Castle.
later I realized I tried to do a 100% run. I missed it by 99%. And I thought I 100%ed it, but I didn't. That game happens to be... Yeah, this is where I finally look at the Lucky Emblems that I had. And it's like, oh, let me actually look at which ones I have here on the list. But anyway. I'm probably going to be on the screen for a little bit because I'm trying to go through it. The list I have. But darn, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. There's a, the game series that I took down, and I took it down because I was getting copyright strikes and whatnot. I was like, I don't want to lose my channel over this. And this was after the whole series was put out. I started getting this, and a funny thing is not that long after I took out the entire yeah, it was after I took down the entire series, they announced the 3DS remake of it. And it was Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. So, one of the coolest looking Heartlesses right there. Anyway. Oh yeah, that whole treasure nonsense. That's not going to be a video. I didn't record any of that because that was way worse than trying to record getting these Lucky Emblems. But Oh gosh. I'm going to, at some point, and that's why I'm thinking... Did I? Yeah, I did leave. But, is my... I swear, it's the PS4 I have is so old, it takes forever to load things, and I'm half concerned. I was half concerned through this LP that it was going to crash on me because of all of the stuff it was having to do, which would have been incredibly sad if that happened. But Flare Force, those things. And anyway, I'm probably going to what I'm gonna do with that. I'm gonna do the same thing I did with Ocarina of Time. And
Let's see.
I'm going to stream the whole thing, and I'm going to do 100% of that one as well. That one's way easier to 100% than Ocarina of Time. I'll just be completely honest. But, I'm going to play through that game after I'm done with going through, Advance Wars and Final Fantasy. Just simply because I think it'd be easier to do it that way. That way, it's just, okay, I have those two to the side, and I'm going to, at some point, get back to it. Because I felt bad that I had to take it down because Nintendo was being a big butt about it. They really were. It's like, come on, dude. And it like, there was like visual, like, oh, we're copyright striking because of visual stuff. It's like, you've got to be joking me. So that's why I ended up taking the whole series down. It was sad. But that was the only thing that was really gonna allow me to continue having a channel, so it was like, alright, fine.
You're through.
And so I took the videos down and the strikes went away from that, so there you go. It was like this whole thing of me waking up, oh, you have a strike. I'm like, oh, fantastic. It was either claims being put on in it for music or strikes for visual, and it's like, you have got to be joking me. Nintendo, you are being the worst right now. But anyway, enough about that. That's pretty much what I'm looking at doing for the foreseeable. Like, who knows how long the Fire Emblem series will take, because it's a new game and everything. I don't know how long that'll take. That, and I'll be honest, I don't know if it's gonna be like you choose a house and you have, depending on which house you choose, you'll have different missions. If that's the case, then that's gonna be a really long series. A really long one. So I guess people who hang out for that series is gonna be thrilled. But that's going to be kind of end up being more of the series like Advance Wars at that point, because it's just whenever I can get it done, I'll get it done. Because that game, unlike Advance Wars, has permadeath going on, and so I'm the type of person that I want everyone to be alive by the end of it, so I'm gonna be continually going for no death runs for my characters. Well, I say a no death run, but there's probably gonna be times where people die and I have to restart the mission, but you get my point, I think. Oh yeah, this was weird. It was like, wait, why did it activate I was running up? What in the world?
Come on.
And it actually ends up killing some of these guys here. It made no sense, but you know, it's whatever at that point. Oh man, I had totally forgotten about that. It's like, oh yeah, let's just activate the finisher move as you're in the air. Oh yeah. This is me not paying attention as I was trying to look at the guide on my computer. Oh gosh, it's just like, hey, how much of a silly person do I look as I'm playing through this game? Quite silly, to be honest. Oh yeah. Since we can actually just be talking about the game here instead of just talking about some random nonsense. I don't know if I ever mentioned this. I don't think I did, because yeah, I don't think I did.
Find some ingredients around here.
Well, how serendipitous you're talking about ingredients. Talking about the bistro. That game is those mini games of cooking are ridiculous as far as that's concerned. But if you get an excellent on all of the times you've cooked, then you get a Keyblade. So it's essentially a Keyblade that has the transformation of turning into a frying pan, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was a frying pan, and like the finality attack was essentially you using a giant flaming flaming frying pan. Too many of that nonsense going on, but it's just crazy because you had this giant frying pan and you're smacking people with it, and it's amazing. And it gives you the ability of getting making it easier of getting excellence, which at that point you're kind of in the camp of, okay, I think I've gotten those before and not had an issue. I don't know what's going on with that. So I don't know why I'm warping around. Anyway, the little bistro is actually it's not hard once you get like what's called the gourmet ring, and I think you get that with one of the treasure chests somewhere. I know gives you one, but I want to say it was a prize for something. and I'm completely blanking on
Let's
it.
see. Got it.
I really don't remember. You know what? I can sit here and say I don't remember, or I can actually do one of these numbers and say, hey, let's see what's going on with this. The gourmet ring, as they call it. Okay. Da, da, da. Okay, so yeah. One of them is through a prize postcard. Let's see if I can't find out where you actually get the other one. We can actually sit here and talk about the game that's playing in front of you, but no, I was not doing that. Or a Calcum, that's not gonna do any help. Oh really? You don't say where? Oh my gosh. It says how to obtain, and it doesn't have that at all. Some accessory list that is. Good night. Da, 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 da. Well, that's just one of them.
Together. Go get him.
There's two of them in the game.
Go get him. Now.
Oh yeah. Essentially, the Keyblade itself. It's called the Grand Chef Keyblade. It looks like the Eiffel Tower with a knife and fork coming off the top of it with a chef's hat on the top. It's kind of cool. I'll have to show it to you guys after when I do that specific one. It doesn't say where to find it. Let me see if I can. I'm just sitting here doing like research on how to do one thing, and it's just ridiculously silly at this point. But at least it's better than me just absolutely doing nothing. I'd rather do something. Retrieving results. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be sitting there forever. Yeah, it's sitting, not actually doing that. message boards and all this nonsense, but it's like, okay, fine.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, huh. Yeah. Huh, yeah.
I bet you there's a lucky emblem here.
Good night. This is people talking about the actual
Yeah.
ring itself, but it's oh, this is like crazy. The Kingdom Hearts wiki of all things. You look at it and it's like, okay, this is the ring, this is what it does, but well, the design of it says what the ring is as far as an accessory, but it has nothing, absolutely nothing. Well, that's pathetic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the other way you get the Gourmand's ring, I think we actually saw it. I don't know if we saw it in the LP or not. But so this is, I guess, it says the Kingdom Hearts 3 strategy guide. And this is apparently Google Books or some nonsense. But this works. It helps out. The final matter to take care of Twilight Town before leaving is the bistro. Obtaining an excellent on each of the available dishes at the moment, I guess from the very beginning, should earn you your first bistro star, which you'll obtain the Gourmand's ring. So there you go. You get one from the postcard, you get one from doing an excellent on each one of the actual dishes to where you get your first, like, 1-star rating. And, they said the ability, some people said the ability stack, so I don't know as far as getting, like, the excellent rating, because that's one of the abilities the ring will give you, is getting a better, it's easier to get an excellent rating with it. I didn't bother with it because I didn't think it stacked, but I don't know, I was able to do it with just one of them, because I will say this, some of those windows for getting excellence are so tiny, it's ridiculously bad. So oh my gosh, it's seriously, like, I've been doing this whole... Yeah, I think I am going to split this up a little bit. I don't know where I'm going to be splitting this up. Honestly, I don't know. I may not split this up. I'm sorry. I really am. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this whole cluster nonsense of an episode. This is like supposed to be the bonus video. It's like, oh, hey, here's some things that you need to know. Well, yeah. The thing is, though, I have no idea what the best way to go about this actual, like,
Think the snow's deep enough?
how to actually do this bonus video where I didn't do my
I
own,
think it's kind of fun.
like, normal commentary over it.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, this whole thing was really dumb. It's like, hey, you can't go into camera mode. Well, why not? It's that whole thing was nonsensical.
Let's see.
To get this one lucky emblem. And I'm sitting there taking pictures of it, and it's like, what the heck?
Let's see.
and it works that way. It's a bit dumb. But anyway. That's actually the final one, I think, on Arendelle.
Let's see.
And it's kind of like, oh, you could kind of make things fuzzy. You can, like, bring the stuff in the background to focus, or you can make it fuzzy where only what you're pointing at's not. So, that was interesting. And as you can see, we're completed with Arendelle. All those different Lucky Emblems found, so there you go. The only reason the next... Yeah, to make it easier, I'm just going to have it 2 episodes of it, so it's not inundated with everything. So, we're going to do that. That way we can just kind of put this whole series to bed. That way it's just 3 more episodes and that's it. That way, it just seems a bit silly to have like 5 bonus videos for it. It's just, yeah, no. It's just gonna be 2 podcast-like episodes of going through the beginning worlds to get the Lucky Emblems. I think it's just 2. Because as far as the other... Oh, actually, it'll be an additional one, I believe. Yeah, unless I don't remember. Hold on. Okay, yeah. So there's actually going to be 4 bonus episodes, not 3. So 3 of them are pre-recorded. So you'll have like 3 podcast-like episodes and 1 that's not. That I'm going to be going through the extra, those 2 fights, and it's going to be like maybe a 20-minute video at most. And I'll kind of show off a little bit about the new Keyblades. That's pretty much going to be it. But the other episode I was wanting to show, and I do have this one recorded, is the constellations, because that was the thing that I was confused about the most when it came to this game. Because it was like, hey, constellations is a thing, and usually they only say that when it's like visibly, oh, that's where a constellation is. No, not really. I mean, after I saw it, I was like, oh, that's what the constellations are? Okay, that makes it's a lot easier to identify. It really wasn't the case like that for me at all. Actually, let me look at my list of videos. I'm looking through all the videos I have as far as recordings go. So there's the one that's going on right now. Then there's the one that's me going through all the previous worlds other than the Toy Story one, which I'll be finishing Toy Story in this episode as well. And going through all this. Huh. I either recorded it with my voiceover, or... because I know I don't get all of them in the first go on the... first go with the Monsters, Inc. world. Huh. I'm actually gonna have to look into that, because I don't see any other recordings that don't have voiceover for it, so I probably did have voiceover for it. Just a matter of did I actually upload it or not? I really don't remember. Well, I can check YouTube and see what's what with that. View the playlist. Okay. Monster Mash.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Hey, Sora, I think the trampoline will take us back to Andy's room.
Yeah. I know with, Big Hero 6 World and with the Caribbean, I just made that part of the series of me running around looking for everything. But I don't think that's the case with Monsters Inc. World, to where I made that part of the series.
Let's see.
Because I believe it went from the fight with Baymax in Big Hero 6.
Back off.
To where I run around just a tad because
Back off.
I was wanting to get the rest of the Lucky Emblems for it.
Come on, Sora!
Yeah, just... I've become the weird person where I can't watch anything in 720 and not cringe because it's just... Gosh, the pixelation just irritates me to death. Alright.
Let's see.
Yeah, so it was essentially the end of that episode.
Back off.
Let's see.
Go. Yes.
Yeah, because there's that whole part right there.
Yes. Go.
Yeah, I'll have to find out what happened with Monsters Inc. It might be in... Because...
Yes. Yes.
that's like a whole separate bit from this recording. These two recordings that have all that going on. So... we'll see. So, however, it might end up being 5. Good night. Sorry. But I'm not gonna split up these episodes because there's not really a good place to split them up, really. Yeah, I don't know how I missed that,
Got it.
but there you go.
Nice picture, Sora.
But yeah, so I'm looking at maybe doing 3 episodes of Lucky Emblems, 1 being probably Monsters Inc. I feel like though that there's been an episode of that somewhere that I've uploaded, but I don't know for sure. So that's just a big thing up in the air. So it's something I'll have to figure out, but you guys don't have to worry about it. And what else? So there's gonna be those 3 episodes possibly.
Come on, fellas.
Then there's gonna be an episode of essentially me going around and gathering all the constellations. That one's actually not a long episode because it's just like me flying around in a dummy ship, and it seriously does not take me long to get them. Just because it just happens to be pretty easy to get. And funnily enough, the toy box is actually one of the best places to level up. It really is, because so many Heartless come at you, and it just makes it easier for gathering all the experience. And I don't remember if it ever said it, or if it was something that appeared after the game was done, but I want to say it was done after the game was, you had the main story completed. So that battle star, essentially, that happened in one of, like, the second to last, or yeah, the second to last episode, I believe. Like that. That's something that appeared in every world for the most part, and there's 13 of them in total. And some worlds actually have multiple battle gates, essentially. And Toy Story Land is one of them, and you fight here. And the whole battle gate is you fighting a whole bunch of these Heartless in the tanks. And they give you so much experience, it's ridiculous. Getting to level 99 is very simple because of that. And I guess to make sure like the episode's not like 5 minutes long or something, I might actually show that off, because it seriously does not take long to go through the battle gate. Well, actually it does take a little bit, but it takes like maybe 5 minutes. Like 5 minutes, and I was like in level 90s and stuff like that as by the time I got to this. Well, actually no, I wasn't. It was when I was trying to get to level 99, but I was getting at least a level every time I did it when I was in the higher levels. So it just made going through it so much simpler, which was nice. I'm destroying everything behind the bad guy I was attacking. But yeah, so there's oh gosh, I'm trying to think of it. Oh yeah, there's that one. Another Lucky Emblem I'm not sure how I missed, but that's a thing.
Let's see.
I will say, this world is a jerk when it comes to the Lucky Emblems. They're absolutely insane. One of them is, like, you seriously have to do this. So, you have to have a mech to do this. And like, I'm currently trying to figure this out, and like, okay, wait, what? You have to destroy that, and it reveals the Lucky Emblem underneath it. How you were to find that out normally, I have no idea. But there you go. One of them is actually more of a jerk to find out. Because it's like, how? Unless you looked at this the right way, like if you had no guide and you were actually trying to do this legit yourself, how in the world were you supposed to find out some of this nonsense? Because it's a bit nonsensical. Yeah, and we only have 3 more in this world. I got the majority of them. Well, I got about half of them actually the first time around, which isn't bad. I don't know why I didn't pick any of that stuff up, but I didn't. I'm one of those people I have to pick up all the drops, but I didn't do that this time. I think it's more of my line of thinking. It's like I want to be done with this. So there is that.
I know what to do,
And honestly, that's not what I was trying to do at all. I was trying to get inside the mech so I could start punching. But yeah, so anyway, I don't know what I was saying before I got completely off track with these Lucky Emblems. I really don't remember. It's horrendously bad. But anyway. Oh yeah, the leveling. So one of the trophies is actually getting Sword to level 99. That's why I was kind of talking about leveling him up to that. And and for the most part, it may not be the most fantastic thing ever, just because of having to deal with all the different nonsense. But I will say this: getting the Ultima Blade just makes the whole thing so much easier. And I think that's where I'll kind of show off the power of the different Keyblade, the Ultima Blade, and I'll kind of show off the what's the name of it? The Chef's Blade. I had said it during this episode because I was looking at it, but I don't remember it right now. But yeah, there's... Good night. So that's what I'm planning on doing for the final episode, is kind of doing the... Yeah, I'll do the... essentially the battle gate here, and do the gummy ship fight, as well as the big giant fight of the game that's supposed to be like the Sephiroth of the game, pretty much. In the sense of like how difficult it is, it's a joke. It's a giant joke, dude.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, like the whole beats and bugs thing, I was so confused by that. Because I was like, oh, it's gotta mean this thing, because of what I was having to deal with. Now, it's actually the, I'm sitting here going, what the heck? But, because I was also trying to think, well, I'll try to do this Moogle thing as well. It's actually that big sign over there with the guy busting through the wall That's what you had to take a picture of. Because I was also in the process of at least trying to do that. But I wasn't figuring it out, so I left it.
Let's see.
Oh man, I love how just... I was so frustrated by the whole thing. I'm like, this is so dumb. And I was just going through the photo album and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to delete all these. Also, here's a note to yourself about things. There's so many Lucky Emblems in this game that actually like legit, there's so many Lucky Emblems in this game that if you're wanting to do anything, then like anything else as far as the camera's concerned, you have to delete the Lucky Emblem stuff. I was keeping a photo, I was like, oh, it's because it's part of the Lucky Emblem, and those should have been the ones I would delete because, hey, guess what? Those are in the album for what you have already, and those don't go away. And there's also a Lucky Emblem up on that spaceship. I was trying to figure out how to get up there as well. You pretty much have to fall onto it, because getting up on it that way doesn't work. So many circles. But oh yeah, I will say this, after playing all the extra stuff and getting 100% on this game, it was so satisfying. It wasn't in the sense of it being too much extra work to 100% it. It was almost kind of like how getting the platinum in Final Fantasy 15 worked. It's just, you play the game, you get it. There's very little extra stuff you needed to do to 100%. Because essentially just playing through the game and actually doing those extra things and like trying to go through it that way, that got you the 100%. But some of it was annoying, like the Fantastic 7. I will not yield on that, because that was absolutely ridiculous.
Hang on! Go time!
But there's, for the most part, it was a fairly simple thing to do. So, and I'm not saying games that have more than that going on is bad. Not by any stretch. Unless it's absolutely and like unrealistically stupid. Like Final Fantasy 13. I love that game. But yeah, no to 100% on that. Because it was like, I went through and actually read every achievement in that game. And they are insane with it. Like, some of it you get it through playing the game, is like story progression wise. But some of it was like, hey, have your characters equip every accessory. it, like every accessory in existence.
How's this?
It's like,
goofy enough.
what in the
for you?
world, game? I don't
Let's
want that.
see.
But yeah, Goofy was in the way for this.
Let's see. Let's see.
So, do I go get the one that I'm most upset about in a minute? Yeah. Okay, so this is a room that has a Lucky Emblem in it, but where the Lucky Emblem is so ridiculously stupid. I wanted to just be pissed off with this game for that very reason. It was that bad in my opinion. Oh gosh, it was so bad. The grinning pig is just so weird. And the puppet master stuff is kind of crazy, but there you go. Oh, that works. Anyways.
Get the rocket! Hang on! Go time! Well done, friends.
I'm just kind of looking through all this nonsense, but anyway. Good night. I always forget how many enemies the Toy Story world actually had. It's like, it inundates you with enemies. It's ridiculous. So, in all seriousness, if you're wanting to level up, just go through and explore the Toy Story world, because you'll certainly get those levels. And I don't know what it is, but and this is something I've never really had an issue with as far as this playthrough of this game. And pretty much with just Kingdom Hearts games in general, I've never had an issue with being underleveled too often. I think only one of the games I was actually really underleveled for. Like, even though I did the Frozen world instead of Monsters Inc. world, and I'm with the Keyblade, the Blizzard Keyblade that I have, it is so insane. Okay, this is the Lucky Emblem right there. Yeah. You have to be in the right position where those disco lights are. Otherwise, you would have never known that was a Lucky Emblem. I call shenanigans and everything on that. Good night. I was so frustrated. Like, really? That was a Lucky Emblem? and because I was looking at a guide while doing it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so dumb. I was so upset by this. And, I believe, yeah, the last one of the world is somewhere they don't ever put you when you teleport between places. They'll put you immediately in the mall. But the last one that I didn't get was right outside, and I didn't know you can go outside.
Let's see.
It was that one right there. Anyway, yeah. That's it for this episode, and in the next one we'll continue this. We'll go through Olympus, and we'll also go through the Kingdom of Corona as well, and get those Lucky Emblems there. So, thank you all for watching. This has been the podcast episode of Kingdom Hearts 3. More to come. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.